Good morning, I'm Shazrin Dalina Rusdi. I'm a lecturer in Faculty of Business and Management, University Technology Mara, Malaysia. I completed my master's degree in Business Administration, specialized in Human Resource Management from the same university, and have been teaching since 2013. Today, I'm going to be presenting on modeling employers' adoption of assistive technology in advancing employment for persons with disabilities. Employers are habitually making negative assumptions towards disabled workers relative to other able employees, which may result in resistance of hiring them. Today, in this era of technology, employers should stop worrying for difficulty in accommodating disabled employees, as appropriate assistive technologies could be adopted that fit with their employees' limitation and help them to work independently. Yet, little consideration is given to examine adoption of assistive technology by employers for employees with disabilities. Therefore, this study aimed to understand how an employer come to a decision for adopting technology for their disabled employees and to examine any significant differences between gender and willingness to hire disabled worker. The survey of this study was conducted among 33 small and medium enterprises (SMEs) in Klang Valley, Malaysia. Judgment sampling technique is utilized for this study, where the selection of samples were among the managers, officers, or executives in charge to manage the disabled workers. This study has specifically examined the office assistant apps as the particular assistive technology for disabled people that were supplied by the government to disabled communities, for example, hearing aids, artificial legs, etc. The result showed positive and significant relationship between assistive technology perceived usefulness and intention to adopt assistive technology. In conclusion, this study provides comprehension on the extent of employers' readiness and the interest in providing assistive technology for their disabled employees in improving their capabilities. Employment among people with disabilities remains debatable. To ensure persons with disabilities to have a better life, several measures have been carried out worldwide. Nowadays, many employment frameworks are manifested in promoting the rights and equality of persons with disabilities in Asia and the Pacific. In Malaysia, the government has enacted Persons with Disability Act 2008 to provide equal opportunity and workforce diversity to those persons with disabilities. This act was enacted to provide equal opportunity for persons. As the act came into force, it opens a new dimension and hope to people with disability, with the intention of improving the persons with disabilities' quality of life, as well as guaranteeing their human rights fundamental. Employers are required to give reasonable changes to the workplace environment that allow a disabled individual to perform their job duties. These can include a wheelchair ramp, adjustable computer technology, or arrangement of a service animal. At present, many researchers have conducted studies related to people with disabilities. However, most studies give attention to the topic of work motivation, employment involvement, employers' reflections toward employees with disabilities, job satisfaction in caring for disabled person, preparation of facilities for people with disabilities, as well as challenges and problems dealt by disabled people. Therefore, this study embarks on the following objectives. 1. to build a model that predicts adoption of assistive technology for disabled employees among employers. 2. To examine the relationship among variables associated with factors that influence adoption of assistive technology. And 3. To examine any significant differences between gender and willingness to hire disabled worker with regards to the perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and adoption of assistive technology. This study area is one of the least studied topics in disability domain that could make it possible for the persons with disabilities to improve their functional capabilities as well as work in a comfortable state at workplace. What other researchers have to say on the challenges in the employment of persons with disabilities and acceptance of technology? Well, according to them, existing biases and stigmas about disability is one of the leading challenges when considering people with disabilities as a potential pool of labor. They believe that the main obstacles to actively recruit people with disabilities is a question of what kind of nature of work that people with disabilities can do and how to accommodate workers with disabilities. They believe that hiring disabled workers will also cost more in terms of preparation of workplace that meet their specific needs and requirements. On top of that, it will also lead to higher insurance claims due to greater possibilities of disabled employees getting hurt while working. They also assume the disabled workers have discipline problems. As for the part of acceptance of technology, several models have been proposed. For example, Theory of Reason Action (TRA) and Technology Acceptance Model. The theory suggested that technologies should exhibit a relative advantage over other options for them to be adopted. And adopted technology should be compatible with the user's life and practices. TAM highlighted that perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use influence the attitudes toward usability that shape intention to utilize. Therefore, in this study, the hypothesis to be tested was there is a relationship between assistive technology perceived usefulness and intention to adopt assistive technology. Hypothesis 2, there is a relationship between assistive technology perceived ease of use and intention to adopt assistive technology. Moving on to methodology, this study is a descriptive and hypothesis testing study. For this research, the unit of analysis is small and medium enterprises in Malaysia that is currently and in potential of hiring persons with disabilities. Since this study could not get a list of all the elements of the population, this study opted for non-probability sampling of judgment sampling technique, where the selection of samples were among the managers, officers, or executives in charge to manage the disabled workers. The data was collected from various organizations across businesses, namely wedding planning, water vending, servicing, printing, planting nursery, customer service, home appliances, insurance, IT, business solution, embroidery crafting, education, design, construction, beauty, cosmetic, and others. The data was collected via online questionnaires that was sent to the respondents through the mobile WhatsApp application. The data was collected via online questionnaires that was sent to the respondents through the mobile WhatsApp application. The message contained a link to a set of self-administered questionnaires in Google Form. A total of 35 questionnaires were returned and only 33 were usable for this analysis. This study was conducted using measurement that consists of assistive technology perceived usefulness, assistive technology perceived ease of use, and intention to adopt assistive technology with a 3-point Likert scales ranging from 1 agree to 3 disagree. All items were adapted from studies in the field of technology acceptance model as follows. Next is result and discussion. Based on Table 4, the R-square indicates percentage variance in the dependent variable of intention to adopt assistive technology that is explained by the variation in the independent variables. the R-square of 0.77 implies that all the independent variables explain 77% of the variance in the dependent variable. The F-test significant value for this study is 0.00, hence all independent variables significantly explain the dependent variable. From the regression analysis results, it is found that assistive technology perceived usefulness with a beta value of 0.708 has significant positive effect on dependent variable. However, assistive technology perceived ease of use has no significant relationship with intention to adopt assistive technology, as its significant value is more than 0.05. Therefore, H1, which is there is a relationship between assistive technology perceived usefulness and intention to adopt assistive technology, is supported, while hypothesis 2, which is there is a relationship between assistive technology perceived ease of use and intention to adopt assistive technology, is not supported. Table 5 showed that there is a statistically significant difference between male and female regarding assistive technology perceived ease of use. In this study, male was found to have higher mean as compared to female. For other variables in the study, results showed that there were no significant differences between male and female in terms of their perceived usefulness towards assistive technology, as well as in terms of their intention to adopt assistive technology. Another testing is done to find any significant differences between SMEs who are willing or not in hiring disabled workers in terms of all the studied variables. Based on Table 6, it is found that there is a statistically significant difference between positive and negative willingness to hire disabled worker with regards to their assistive technology perceived usefulness. With the value of P equals to 0.04, where P is less than 0.05, surprisingly, in this study, companies who did not willing to hire disabled worker were significantly having higher perception of assistive technology usefulness as compared to companies who were willing to hire disabled worker. As conclusion, only perception towards usefulness instead of ease of use of the assistive technology is important in ensuring the adoption of assistive technology among SMEs in Malaysia. Therefore, the government and policymakers must ensure that assistive technology's benefits towards all employers as well as towards the disabled workers themselves need to be clearly promoted, educated, and facilitated. It is not that the actual ease of use in using the assistive technology, but the perceptions of its usefulness is the biggest factor in determining the adoption interest and willingness among employers to hire persons with disabilities. On top of that, gender and willingness to hire the disabled worker does play significant roles in determining the employer perceptions of the assistive technology's ease of use and perception of its usefulness. Therefore, the training and exposure of the assistive technology need to be stressed more among the females. The clear explanation on the usefulness of the assistive technology needs to be emphasized more, especially among the employers who were reluctant in adopting such technology as it is significantly contributed to the non-adoption among employers. This study, therefore, could be made as reference for governments, academics, and human resource practitioners to improve employment among disabled workers who were mostly neglected as minority in today's ever-competitive world. Should you have any questions, do not hesitate to drop your email to the given email address. The corresponding author will respond accordingly. Thank you.